We're joined now on the Scott Sands Show by Senate candidate Bernie Moreno. Bernie, how are you feeling today?
I feel really good, Scott. We have early voting completed now in Ohio, and we have a 260,000 vote advantage versus Democrats. But as you know, I am a Cleveland Browns fan. We've seen a lot of games that are lost in the last minutes of the game. So everybody listening, you make a plan to go vote tomorrow. If you haven't already voted, if you have voted, find people in your life, or your family, your friends that have not voted, and you help them get to the ballot box. It's extremely important that we swamp the vote tomorrow. Every vote matters. If you think your vote doesn't matter, you're dead wrong.
I am encouraged by the early voting numbers in Ohio and around the country for Republicans, but the flip side of that is Republicans have traditionally waited until Election Day to vote, and I'm worried that we may be the net gain may not be there on Election Day, depending on what the actual voter turnout looks like.
No, because overall early voting is down from last cycle. In 2020, there's about 3.1 million people that voted early. This cycle, about 500,000 less. So there's lots and lots of people who haven't voted. And so we got to get the Republicans. Anybody who loves this country, you love this country, you want a secure border, you want energy dominance, you want to get rid of these EV mandates so the Jeep plant in Toledo doesn't close. You want stability and peace around the world. You want a government that doesn't treat you like garbage. You don't want to give your kids and grandkids generationally high debt. Then you go out there tomorrow and you make your voice heard and you vote for President Trump, for me, for Bernie Moreno, for the U.S. Senate, and every single Republican on the ballot, and vote no on issue 1.
We're talking to Bernie Moreno, BernieMoreno.com. What can you share from your internals? Some of the national polls have shown you gaining momentum over the last couple of weeks.
We're going to retire the old commie.
It's a bold statement.
Well, look, Scott, the guy's been around for 50 years. The guy's a Russian studies major from Yale. He has a plane flying around Cleveland saying that I'm for Putin. Look, I'm for peace. I'm for ending the killing. There's only one of us who studied Russian studies in college, and that wasn't me. I studied business. The reality is the guy's been around too long, and you know what happens? Things that have been around too long, left outside the rot, they start to smell, and it's time to clean house and get rid of Sherrod Brown. 18 campaigns, too many. This is not what our government was designed to be as a retirement home for people like Sherrod Brown. Let's get him out of there. Let's get fresh blood in there who's going to advocate for Ohio to actually move us forward as a state.
As you've traveled the state, what are you hearing from voters? I mean, obviously, the people I talk to, it's about the economy. It's about the border crisis and the number of illegal immigrants coming into the country. Are you hearing the same things?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those are the policies that are different. But generally speaking, it's this idea that our government treats us like garbage. They take better care of foreign nationals than Americans. Look, Sherrod Brown bragging about the fact that he sent hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine. I'm going to be bragging about bringing hundreds of billions of dollars in opportunities to the people of Ohio, make our lives better, improve our schools, improve our cities, improve our communities, lower our debt, get the government out of the way. Let us be able to live a good middle-class life without a government that's intrusive. This is what people want. They're sick and tired of these politicians, that it's all about them. It's all about getting more and more to Washington, D.C., and less to us. Fundamentally, that's what this election tomorrow is about. That's why everybody listening has got to make a plan to go vote. If you have to take the day off tomorrow, take the day off tomorrow and go vote and send people to the poll locations to make it happen.
Have you voted already?
I voted on the first day of early voting. I hadn't done that ever. I did it this time to get my vote in there. And look, there's lots of people in my life who haven't voted yet. I'm going to make certain that they get to the polling locations tomorrow.
Yeah, I talked about I wanted to early vote because there was such an enthusiasm surrounding early vote this year. But part of me, I'll wait until tomorrow. I like to go and talk to the poll workers, find out if there's been any trouble in my precinct, get a vibe from them on what they're seeing and hearing. And I live in a heavily Democrat district downtown Toledo, so it's always interesting to have that conversation with the poll workers.
Well, you know, to the people who are listening who may not be conservatives or Republicans that live in Toledo, look, the city's been run by Democrats for how long, right? You got a mayor that, how's he done? Is your life better? Do you feel like your home prices are better you feel like your rental prices are more affordable, food's more affordable, groceries are more affordable, insurance is more affordable, Medicare is more affordable. Look, these guys have had a chance to run these cities. Throw them out. Give Republicans a chance to run cities like Toledo, Cleveland, Columbus, that city council races, county commission races. Give Derek Barron an opportunity. Look, Marcy Kaptur's been there for 42 years. I mean, 21 elections. Get rid of her. She hasn't helped you. She's like Sherrod Brown has seen more factory closures than anybody else. Derek deserves an opportunity. If you don't like what Derek did in the 2 years that he serves in Congress and you get a chance to vote him out, Marcy has not delivered for Toledo. Get rid of her. Retire her tomorrow. Enough with these career politicians. They can't get a job in a private sector. That's why they park themselves in Washington, D.C.
We actually have a ballot initiative in the city of Toledo tomorrow to allow our Democrat mayor to serve a third consecutive term. They actually want to change the city charter, and the mayor's behind this push, this initiative, to increase the number of consecutive terms the mayor of Toledo can serve.
Because if he had to go get a job in a private sector, he wouldn't be able to get a very good one. I mean, I look, if I still own car dealerships and I was looking for somebody to wash cars, maybe that he'd be qualified for that. But beyond that, I don't think he'd be qualified to do anything, let alone run a city like Toledo.
We're talking to Bernie Moreno. You can learn more at BernieMoreno.com. Get out to vote tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. The polls in Ohio are open. As you've been out talking to voters across the state, Bernie, what's been your favorite campaign moment?
My favorite campaign moment was about 2 weeks ago. I was at a great new charter school on the west side of Columbus. I'm a big believer in school choice. School choice exists in Ohio. Thanks to your great legislators. Derek Barron was one of them, by the way, that voted for school choice. I got a chance to visit that school. I went into the classroom of first graders. Now, the principal, before I walked into the classroom, said, well, these are 6-year-olds. They're not going to know what you're doing or what politics is all about. So I'm going to set the stage for you. I'm like, all right, perfect. So we walk in. These cute little kids all raise their hands. And the principal was a little overwhelmed by all the hands that went up. So she started picking on kids. She picked on the first one. She goes, what would you like to say? And this little kid says, that's Bernie Moreno. Principal and I looked at each other, and I laughed, and I said, maybe we advertised a little too much.
So will you stop texting me all night after tomorrow?
Exactly. We may have overshot Disney Plus, but then she picked on the second kid, and she, what would you like to say? And he goes, you're running for the United States Senate. And I said, my God, you're already smarter than Joe Biden. Right? I mean, this is
So, as you know, obviously, Ohio, not really a swing state anymore. This is a state that voted +8 for Trump in 2016, 2020. So we haven't seen a lot of Donald Trump, J.D. Vance campaign stops in our state. Do you think that's hurt your campaign, not having the Trump effect in the state this election cycle?
No, because in a sense, we have him at the top of the ticket with J.D. Vance, so they're going to add a lot to that. But to finish the story real quick, this one last child at the school raised his hand. He goes, you're going to win because Sherrod Brown is just too liberal for Ohio.
Yeah, I think you're hammering the message home.
Yes, absolutely. That's the closing message. Look, Ohio deserves a senator that actually reflects Ohio values, not somebody who represents Massachusetts values.
What's been your biggest regret? What do you miss? What did you miss on the campaign trail?
I don't think I missed anything. I have no regrets in the campaign trail at all. In fact, I've been honored to meet so many great people over Ohio. Look, you and I never met. I didn't know who you were. I got a chance to get to know you. You take that, multiply it by thousands of relationships all over Ohio that I have now. It was the greatest honor of my life to be able to be the nominee for the Republican Party. It's something that I'll always, regardless of what happens tomorrow night, I'll always cherish that. We have a great state with great people. We just deserve good leaders. And look, I won't disappoint you. I won't let you down. I'm going to work really, really hard for the next 6 years to make certain I advocate tirelessly for Ohio. That's what the job description is. Give me a chance to do that. And again, you won't be disappointed. We're going to make some great things happen for Ohio.
What are your plans tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night, I'm going to be with my family. I got my siblings coming into town. I got my grandkids. I got, of course, my wife and my 4 kids. So tomorrow is all about family time. Be with family and friends as we watch the election results. Look, it's in the hands of the people of Ohio now. It's up to them. 13 hours to vote. Make your vote count. By the way, even if you're not voting for me, go out there and vote. This is the one thing that's unique in America. If you're a billionaire or somebody's down on your luck, you get equal shot at picking your representatives. So it's important that everybody go out there and vote, Scott.
Yeah, there's got to be a sense of calm that's going to come over you tonight after your last campaign stop, or tomorrow, whenever your last campaign stop is.
Look, I've done everything I could. I left it all in the field. I worked as hard as I possibly could. We drove 150,000 miles to every corner of the state. We did probably 2,000 plus events. We met some great people, campaigned as hard as I possibly could, did everything I possibly could. So I have absolutely no regrets. And like I said earlier, it was one of the greatest honors of my life to be able to run for the United States Senate.
You're sworn in. You win tomorrow. You're sworn in. What's your first priority? What's the first piece of legislation you want to work on?
We're going to secure our border. We're going to make it crystal clear that we are pro-immigration, but we're not pro-invasion. We're then going to cut regulations, make sure we unleash American energy. Let's build up those refineries in Toledo, get them chugging, make sure that we get rid of all these EV mandates and incentives and rebuild our auto industry in America. Let's reward companies that come here to America, employ American workers, and pay their workers a good wage. Those are the things that we'll work on in the first 100 days.
And it's your chance. Closing message to the people of Toledo. I think you've delivered it here, but what's your final message to the people of Northwest Ohio?
You've had Sherrod Brown for 30 years in Washington, D.C. He's failed you. Marcy Kaptur's been there for 42 years. She's failed you. Give new blood, new generation a chance to actually show you what we can do to make your lives better. That's what we're going to do. We will not let you down.
Bernie Moreno, BernieMoreno.com. Get out to vote tomorrow. Polls open at 6:30 in the morning, open until 7:30 tomorrow night. Bernie, good luck, my friend.
Thank you so much, Scott.